Hello, welcome back to Old Reader, New Reader. And welcome back to Tina.
Hi, guys.
Thanks for
I missed
joining.
you guys. No
Hey,
problem.
Mark. Hey, James. I would have posted about this on social earlier, but I'm logged out of buffer. But welcome, everybody who's here for Superman Red Sun. Welcome, Tina. Now, this one this is an interesting one. It's on a lot of people's list of like top Superman books.
Really?
Well, because it's different. Like if you talk about memorable Superman books, you have like your typical ones: All Star Superman, Superman for All Seasons, Birthright. The list goes on and on. But Red Sun is one that comes up a lot because it's so different for like Superman, anyways. And I bet a lot of people tend to gravitate toward this because they like when Superman isn't like Superman. So I'm a Superman girl. I like my sweetheart boy, and other people, they're like, oh yeah, he's different. Like it's edgy and like not edgy, like oh god, Lord, words like like the boys and things, but like it's just a different Superman. Surprise,
a different inspiration.
There's a lot of Superman over the past few months actually on this show.
Really?
And yeah, because we did some before Superman came out.
Oh, okay, that's right. I didn't even think about that. Well, when you were like, hey, let's have you back on for Old Reader, New Reader, I was like, oh, and you're like, is there something you want to do? I was like, Red Sun, because I had been over to Omar's filming TikToks.
Yeah.
And he was talking about titles, and I happened to see Red Sun, and this has been a couple months ago. And I was like, what's that about? And he's like, oh, if Superman fell in like the USSR, like Russia and stuff. And I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Oh, it's super cool.
Yeah. And so like, I've been wanting to read it. And then I was like, yeah, Maddie, let's read Red Sun. And you're like, yeah. And I think they've got like a new collected edition of this too.
Yeah, it just came out. Omar reviewed it, I guess, 2 months ago.
Really?
So there's a new collected edition of it. This is just 3 issues, but they're meaty issues.
Yeah.
Like each issue is like 50-ish, 56 pages. And there's an animated movie as well, which is pretty good. All the DC animated movies are really good. If you ever want to watch it, come over because we just collect all of them. And they're all good. Like, I can't say that for DC live action, except for the new Superman. It is very good. But, and I saw it twice. You should see it. Oh. But, like, all the DC animated is really good.
Yeah.
Although I'd rather have you over to watch Batman Ninja versus the Yakuza League because it is right up our alley. It's so silly. There's like a sort of like Sentai scene where all like the Robins are different robot parts that combine together like Power Rangers.
That's great.
I know. Exactly. So, so you described it well. This is basically what if Superman had been raised in the Soviet Union? So instead of landing in Smallville, he lands in the Ukraine. There's this great sentence in there. It's like, man, this is crazy. If that ship had arrived just 12 hours later,
it'd be America.
Yeah, and just that slight change. And this goes a lot of interesting ways. So we can kind of go in order, but I guess I'm gonna hear your first thoughts, and then we can kind of dig into just like we can split it up by issue or.
Yeah, so like my main thing coming from it, like I've not read a lot of Superman, so I was like, usually like my friends have tried to get me into Superman. I have a friend who's conveniently named Clark, and
he's a great Superman.
He loves Superman, and he's given me comics before, and I'm like, well, Superman's really not my cup of tea. Like maybe it's because he's too homegrown. Maybe it's because like he's the like good old boy, but in a really good way, not like the But
you also hate muscles on men, so
I do hate muscles on men. Like I'm more interested in his persona of Clark Kent rather than like as Superman. So like I like seeing the world rather than necessarily like this. But this was a nice take. Like I was like, okay, this interests me. This is a different take of the norm, what I know. Also, I've heard about Milkman Superman, but that's for another day. Anyways.
We can do that.
So I came into this blind, just wanting to read it, and like Omar's like, yeah, here, let me just give you this copy since I've got this other collected edition. I was like, great, perfect. Read it, and I don't know how I feel about Lex Luthor in this.
It's interesting because you also have to think like, what is Lex Luthor like? Because in this instance, right?
Yeah.
Superman is an enemy of the state. He's in a different country. Right. Versus Superman existing within the same nation as Lex Luthor. How does that affect Lex Luthor? Because he's still obsessed with him.
Right.
I mean, entirely. But the way that he goes about things is different.
He does. It's a very bad romance. Like,
well, they've always been. It's like Batman and Joker. It is a bad romance.
Right. He's his antithesis. He's his anti-hero. He's very much like, I want to say less of a villain. Like when I think of Lex Luthor, I think villain Luthor. I don't think necessarily like anti-hero Lex Luthor. Like he's still horrible. He's still a horrible person.
He's a horrible person. And he's so self-interested.
Is so self-interested. The fact that he gets with, Lois.
Oh, Lois. Oh, God.
I was like, what does she see in him? Like,
I think because he, without Superman there, right? It makes sense that she's such an incredibly intelligent, cunning woman that maybe she's like, this is the guy that I can,
But when she's around him, I don't feel that she's really exposing her like smarts or intelligence. It feels like she's done. It's an interesting character study for Lois Lane on like Superman being the linchpin of certain foils in this universe. So
and she's in love with him still.
She's in love with it. Sees him for a split second. And even Superman's like,
it's like they have this. It's interesting because it almost makes you feel like there's like of course, there are several Earths, right? So, parallel universe theory is real in this. I think this is Earth 30. I think they finally gave it a number. But it's as if they are aware of their other like universes because they have this feeling that like it's that they cannot stop thinking about one another. Like it's just this like very quick, and he says this like, years later in the future they will say that we were lovers, right? Even though it's not the case.
It's really interesting. He's like, oh, I can't act on her or do anything even if I wanted to because it's a picture of a husband and the ring essentially on her finger. So he's very much got these core values, even though he's like a red sun. He's, as you said, he fell in Ukraine, which at the time, Cold War, and everything like that, that's the USSR. The whole dynamic of what's going on, like he still has these sensibilities, like is one farm boy from, the middle of nowhere USA the same as a farm boy or a compound or, like a co-op group over in like Russia, Ukraine? I mean, he still has these very traditional core values, and they don't go into like really how much he was raised in this world, but it seems like he's still instilled or has those core values, whether he was raised with them or not. He's got this very finite. It's just a little bit, what's the word? A little warped, a little bit.
Yeah, it's warped. Because you have like Smallville, which he would just have his, his mom and dad. But you could argue that in like small town America, right, in Kansas, you have a very collectivist sort of view. But that's like you're a minority in a very individualistic country versus like, a very strong collectivist view within a collectivist country. And like, where does that lead? And also very different because America doesn't just immediately always like take Superman. Like he's grown up in a country now that's like, once he shows himself as Superman, it is like he has a role to play and a duty to the government, to the people, to be of use. And like, because that's the wider thing, like he doesn't strive for like a regular life. He doesn't have a regular life or a Clark Kent. He is just Superman the whole time. And he has to be of use to the party.
Right. So like he's a figurehead. So he's less of a figurehead. I mean, he's somewhat of a figurehead. He's somewhat of an ideal in the traditional sense for the traditional Superman. But he's even more so as this red sun. Like he's, like Russia or Ukraine's favorite son. He's, like very like, let's instill communist values. He's a communist son.
Yeah.
He is the red sun.
And he sees the best in it.
Yes.
And like to the point where I think he's not totally aware of what that looks like. Like he knows, like, can hear things, right? But like, it's as if he is believing in the communist state in its like purest form, right? Of like the total idealist communist, not what we got.
Right. I mean, he does have those blinders on. Like, I think that very much parodies like his friend, where he's like, oh, you know, like I had to go kill, unfortunately, this family and stuff like that. And so Superman isn't completely blind to what's going on, but it's almost like, well, I can forgive this because this is for the greater good. This will save more people. If I do this thing, it might lessen hope, but it will save more people. I will help more people. And that's where he's coming from, is this, it's still this sense of, I need to help.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. No one's ever the villain of their stories. Also, I liked Mark's, this book will be enjoyed even if it requires a re-education camp.
Yes.
Yeah, so like we have this, I should have separated by issue. Who cares? We'll just talk about it. But in this first issue, we get the kind of like beginning of saying about Superman, the beginning of learning about Lex Luthor. And, you know, you're a newer reader, so you're just like, there's probably some things you don't pick up on. There's a bunch of different characters from DC that are there, but they have different roles. Okay.
I was like, I was surprised.
I wasn't sure how much, because like Jimmy Olsen is an agent instead of working at the Daily Planet.
Yes.
Like, and there's some sprinkled out here, like Oliver Queen is Green Arrows at some point in the Daily Planet. We have a very different Hal Jordan, which we'll get to. Mm-hmm. But I really was interested in Superman and Wonder Woman, how they came into the fray, of like how Hippolyta joined that conversation with the Communist Party with Stalin. It's so weird to read a comic book with Stalin in it.
It
is. And she's like, yeah, I'm not really interested in taking a side, Stalin. Like, I'm not. He's like, you could join me in my bedroom. And she's like, yeah, fat chance, loser.
Yeah, she's like,
but Wonder Woman falls for Superman so much because they're so alike, and he sees like a true like comrade at his level. Yeah. And she falls for, and that's always hard for me. I don't like Superman Wonder Woman romance ever, but it is interesting that like she sees this idealist and like, okay, and she can get behind it. Whereas normally Themyscira would not throw themselves behind any like nation, you know, that is not their business.
Well, and I don't necessarily see it as throwing themselves behind it. I see it's sort of alignment. Like she's looking to make like alignments in the world, how to protect. Any country's going to see about protecting their own interest, who they can coincide with. And obviously with Superman as the Red Sun, the head of the USSR, like this is a major power now. So we're talking about like America's afraid. Like it starts like hinting at this in the very first thing, like America starts kind of being afraid. Like, what does this mean for us? What is going to happen? Like, are we going to progress outside this Cold War? Is it going to be total annihilation? Is our values and our way of life going to disappear?
Yeah. So and he still shows up and helps everyone here, which is interesting. Because like the way they started off is like we started to see the beginning of this and how like the news is taking it, how our intelligence networks are taking it, where it's extreme fear. Like this guy can see everything from far away, he can hear everything, he can stop anything. And they show this like almost like propaganda as well because of how the USSR talks about him. And yet he shows up to save the Daily Planet after Luthor makes Sputnik fall.
Accelerate, yeah.
Yeah, which also, again, total Luthor move to be like, I'm just going to try this out. If it hits my stuff, it cares. And my wife, I don't care. Ugh, like, yeah, we know. We're saying countries in like the full group, USSR.
Yeah.
Trust me, I have a degree in security studies. It's a master's degree, Josh.
Right.
And like this I like talking about China like, communists more.
Yeah. It didn't break apart in this book. Like it's very much
an entity.
Yeah, an entity still. Like he's born in Ukraine, or not born, but he arrives in Ukraine. He's raised in Ukraine, but he is Russia's. He is Stalin's like son, red son.
Yeah.
I want to point out in the very first little section, like when it's Stalin's protege, like talking to Superman and telling him about what he had to do about this one family. Like, I realized immediately, I was like, oh, is this Batman?
Yeah, I know. It's good, right?
Yeah, I was like, oh, this is Batman. This is Batman in, like, Russia.
Yeah. Which I thought was cool. It was cool. It was a cool way to bring him into it.
Yeah.
I have one master's, Josh. It's in diplomacy and security studies. But my undergraduate degree is in global studies, East Asian studies, and Japanese. So that's the background. But yeah, I thought that was a cool way to do that and like have him be this like resistance movement, but that's actually really effective. And so he still does it in a very Batman way. But yeah, that whole like background of like, because I can't speak word. Pyotr, the Russian version of Peter.
Pyotr? Or Pyotr? I'm very bad at it too, like Pyotr.
So the illegitimate son of Stalin, who is close friends with Superman. Yeah, when he's talking about this, what happens. But yeah, it's what a unique way to have it be. Batman.
I mean, it's really unique, and I love like Batman in this, like the anti, like comrade Batman, like racked me up, like with his little like his hat, his like Fargo hat. Yeah. Like I was just cracking up. I was like, look at this comrade Batman. But yeah, it was a unique way to bring him in. I didn't expect so many homages to I shouldn't have assumed. I thought it was going to be purely a Superman book, that there wouldn't be like Superman, Wonder Woman, Green Lantern.
The Brainiac stuff is great too.
Brainiac in there. Like I got it like Lex Luthor, but so let's talk about Lex, because I really want to talk about him.
God, he's obnoxious in this book. They made him even more obnoxious than ever. God, he sucks.
You're right. Like he's not true. Like, okay, so he's not like super villain, but he totally is a scumbag.
Oh yeah,
100%. I hate him so much. I think I hate him more in this.
I hate him more in this than I have in any book, I think. And he's done some truly terrible things in other books.
Right.
But the way he's just like, oh, I'm reading a book and playing chess with monkeys, and I'm learning Urdu or whatever. And
I'm learning I'm teaching myself how to read lips.
Just because I realized I didn't know how.
And then wanting to be friends with Superman. He's like, you know what? If he was born over here, we'd be great friends.
Yeah, okay, sure.
And I'm like, absolutely not. He even goes so far as to make another Superman, essentially. And he's like, this creature had the audacity to beat me.
I don't believe Bizarro could ever beat him at chess, but that's fine.
Well, yeah, it's true.
What's interesting, though, like, what I didn't quite like, but I thought it was fine for the story, they almost made Superman kind of similar to that as far as intelligence.
Yeah.
Because, like, when he shows up at, like, I guess he's talking to Lois. No, he's talking to Bizarro. He's like, oh, sorry, I only learned English 10 minutes ago, so I don't know if it's very good. And I'm like, that felt kind of odd to me that, like, he's super fast, like the Flash, so maybe he's just doing things differently. But to, like, that was an odd choice, writer-wise, to have him be this, like, crazy intelligence almost in the same level. Not in the same level as Lex, but, like, up there, you know?
Like, that was interesting. Superman is fairly intelligent. Like, he is intelligent. He is very smart. He can educate himself. But I think his focus in other books isn't necessarily like learning things. It's helping. I think this goes with that sort of like that weird sort of image that communist countries have of like, we don't play with things, we learn things. To be someone, you have to be the Renaissance person.
Yeah, so maybe like,
I think that's part of that. And that's what I was kind of getting from that, is that they are very much mimicking like that mentality of a communist country with Renaissance sons and daughters. Like you have to be very smart. It's like, like Chinese studies, like you have to be very, very smart, like you have to keep learning. You have to keep doing this. you will only make us proud if you achieve this, this, and this. I think it goes on that. Like, I got what they were doing. I kind of agree. Like, I don't necessarily think he's a good, like, one-for-one foil for a Brainiac, but
yeah, it was interesting. But I like that. So we have this point where like Stalin dies, and you know, Pyotr and other USSR officials are like, well, we want you to lead. Like, you're the one. Like, everyone puts you on a pedestal. He's like, that's not the purpose of this. That doesn't fit what this means. If I were just to be on top because I'm the most powerful, that does not go in line with what our beliefs are.
Right.
I'm just here to serve. I'm not here just to lead because I have the ability to do so. And he sticks to these guns for a while, but not killing anybody, not doing these things. And then eventually runs into Lana, who is, they've made, that's his friend growing up in Smallville as well, but they have added her in here. And she's not able to eat and nobody is. And he's like, you know what? Like, this is ridiculous. There's no reason. I should lead them, because if they can't actually take care of people, then what's the point? And I like this. I think this book does a great job of showing this slow descent into leading Clark to his worst nightmare, basically.
Oh yeah.
Because he basically, you know, we have at the same time we have some things happen with Brainiac, where Brainiac is he's working with Luthor-ish. He shrinks Stalingrad because Brainiac has always like taken little cities. He did the same with, you know, Clark's home planet and Krypton, like cities there. And he's slowly matching that. Yeah. In a way that he can't, it's happening much faster than he can anticipate.
Well, when you, it's just like dementia. Okay. You don't notice the hallmarks of it or this progression until like someone else points it out to you that you're already knee deep in it. So like, it's just these small things that start happening. It's like, well, if I can help them here, well, this process is we already have re-education camps.
Yeah.
Why don't we just take that a step further? Why don't we just, you know, do the Superman, you know, re-imaging? Why don't we just do this? Why don't we just re-educate? We're actually helping more people. And that's the whole thing. It's
like, so we know we're helping them. Like, we know best, right? And we get to the point where, you know, even in private, people aren't saying anything. Yeah. Which is always a red flag.
Well,
in anything.
He can hear it. They're listening. He's listening.
Well, yeah, but can't even have conversations about it. And there's this great moment where he's seeing Wonder Woman again, and they're talking about like, hey, maybe we are doing too much, because now people aren't even taking care of themselves. They're not wearing seatbelts. They're not bringing life jackets when they go on boats.
Yes.
Like, they're not. Have we overstepped so much that people don't even have their own like self-preservation? Because like, oh,
right,
Superman will save us.
Yeah.
Which is a conversation that happens pretty often, I think, with superheroes, and like, I don't know, also the Bible, help yourself or whatever.
Well, even now, like, the more we legislate to like protect people, like with laws and everything else, like you have to do, are we really protecting them? Are we really thinking about their best interest? Are we just trying to prevent something from happening because people get really lax and be like, well, they're taking care of it. So I don't have to do this thing. I don't have to think. I don't have to stand up for my rights because I'll get, you know, stomped on, you know, like I'll get thrown in a re-education camp. So it's just this sort of like thing. It's like, what's the point at that point in time?
Yeah. And if you're reading anything in this book and you're like, man, that would be a really shitty thing to do to people, just remember that when you're looking at anything that's happening in the real world. Anyways. I don't know what I'm talking about. But
just Batman right here, man. Like,
look at his little hat
every time. So yeah, I really loved seeing Batman there, and the Green Lanterns.
Oh yeah. So there's a lot to talk about, but like, we don't have to talk in order. It's fine. This will help you guys. So if you haven't read it, and we are talking about spoilers, it won't ruin it because we're just kind of jumping around.
We're jumping. Well, I mean,
but there's a lot in here.
There is so much in here. I do love how like he kind of like near the end of the first section into the second section, it's talking about how he is not just helping, you know, Russia, Ukraine, the communist countries. He's actually going over as you said, when Lex Luthor decided to do like the whole Daily Planet thing, like, oh, they'll take care of it. They'll be fine. Some people are expendable, and he's already shown like some people are expendable to him. He really doesn't care. So it sets this juxtaposition of like, if Americans think some people are expendable, but Superman is like, I'm a champion for the people, like maybe he is a good thing. You know, maybe he's doing the right thing. And you kind of get that like little smattering of like, well, he's saving people, and people kind of being like in America, like, well, he's actually saving us or he's helping us. So it's this weird, like, maybe they're not as bad as I thought. And it kind of works its way in that way, you know?
Yeah. Because he still cares, like, throughout this. Like, if someone's dying on him, it still affects him. But he is taking this in a not great way.
Right.
Because we get to a point, like, after he fights Batman and Batman, you know, kills himself because he's afraid of being lobotomized. So at this point, he has Brainiac to create sort of like Superman robots to re-educate people. You know, he's saying he's doing the right thing, but you know, if you're taking someone's free will away and doing things, is that not the same as killing them? And you know, so Batman lobotomizes himself, but then he creates Batmen, like robots and stuff, which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
He's turned Piotr into a Superman robot. Wonder Woman, you know, has been injured pretty critically. Yes. And we also learn that in this world, it's like this red solar energy light that takes away his abilities.
Yeah.
It's very different than what we are used to with like, there's no kryptonite in this book.
No.
Which is very interesting. So we, you know, and then this is the catalyst for everything is just getting worse. The red light was really cool. That like locking him in that room, it looked very cool, animated as well. Yeah, so the Green Lanterns. Oh yeah, let's show that. I don't have a physical copy of it. I thought that was very cool.
It is. And that's right when Wonder Woman gets injured.
Yeah.
So it's very like something really bad happened to her that she basically kind of gets taken out for a little bit.
Yeah. And finally kind of gets her to think differently.
Yeah.
So Luthor, you know, is still working towards, we see he's the United States and Luthor especially are trying to throw this whole rogues gallery together against Superman to fight him. And I like how that was described. It's like we see a lot of classic Superman villains, but are instead used by Lex, but like Lex Luthor United States against a communist Superman. And we also see about the Green Lanterns, which are different this time, because now we have a very mentally unstable Hal Jordan.
Yes, we do. Like we get to see kind of like it's kind of weird how they introduce like it's another alien species, another like sort of like happenstance, and they're like, oh, this weapon here, this ring, it's a weapon.
Yeah,
we can take this and we can use it. And it's just like, oh, from what I know of Green Lantern, which I don't know a lot, and I'd like to read some.
Oh well, man. Problem is, I've done Far Sector on this channel like 2 or 3 times, but every time someone says they want to read Green Lantern, I'm just like, oh, let's read Far Sector. But we should read some Green Lantern. There's some really good ones.
I mean, every time I hear about it, I'm like, I really want to read that.
Well, listen,
you want on my reading list.
Tell me a Tuesday next month.
It's very anti-Green Lantern.
Yeah, they're still, you know, they're trying to go by will. Yeah, what they're doing is not how it's supposed to be used.
No. So it's very unstable mentally, but they're like, something is going on, something's wrong. We need to counter this with our own superior weapon.
Oh no, FDO. I bought a used copy. I was reading it. I was enjoying it. I started getting a cough while reading it. Like I was having a reaction. I got to a page from in the middle and there was mold.
Oh no.
Oh God.
Yeah, definitely flip through your books before you buy them. Oh, that's sad.
Yeah. So there's more back and forth. There's this really cool scene where it's right before Luthor gets captured. Luthor shows up. He confronts Superman while Brainiac is nearby. Because now Brainiac is like a confidant of Superman. Yeah. He is constantly, despite everything that's happened, he is still talking with Brainiac. because he thinks he's got the upper hand on Brainiac, which is never a good idea.
No.
Ever. You shouldn't feel the way about Luthor. You shouldn't feel the way about Brainiac, ever. But there's this moment where Brainiac just goes ahead and absorbs Luthor and takes him out. Because he's like, I couldn't let him talk to you. He would have convinced you to kill yourself within 14 minutes. Which is just like...
How did you come up with that?
Like... crazy. But yeah, so now it gets worse. There's just more fighting. Brainiac has been telling Superman that he wants to have him, that he should invade.
Yeah.
That he should be doing these things. He's like, that's not me. That's not who I'm supposed to do. But it's still like, by saying that, it's like slowly putting that like peace in his mind about like taking control of all these other countries and areas.
Like, he's like, well, I really don't want to do that. I don't. And then Green Lantern Corps, they attack, or our version in this story of the Corps, they attack, and he's like, well, maybe he's right. Mm-hmm. If people keep attacking me, if people keep fighting me, maybe my confidant is right. Maybe this whisper that I'm only hearing, maybe he's right, because they're not stopping. They're endangering people. I've got to stop it.
Wonder Woman and the Amazons have like also thrown their lot in.
Yeah.
With Luthor, because she has changed her mind since. Which is we have these great moments too. Is like you get to see an older Lois, who is still married to Lex for some reason. Why? Why are you married to him?
Well,
she's first lady. She goes and talks to Diana, and I have this moment because both of them have loved Superman before, and she's like, this is what I need from you. Help us defeat Superman. Which is neat. You have this really great moment. And so they're trying to help out. And we end up getting to one of my favorite moments in the book. That when Superman finally makes his way to the White House.
Yes.
Lois is there. And she says, he's fighting Brainiac. There's always things happening. Or like he's about to fight Brainiac. Mm-hmm. And there's a note in her pocket. This is her weapon. And we see a flashback to Brainiac saying, if Lex had talked to you, he would have convinced you to kill yourself within 14 minutes. Yeah. And there's this note in her pocket. He's like, how's that going to help? And he reads it and it says, why don't you just put the whole world in a bottle, Superman? And that gets him. And I love that moment. Because no one's told him that. No one has like confronted him with his own true feelings of what he, at his core, his true morals, and like woken him up from all of this. Why don't you just put the whole world in a bottle? Like,
and it's such a simple statement. Like, because I was like, when I saw that scene, when I was like, okay, why won't she leave the grounds? Why is she like not worried about her own safety?
Because she's a badass. Lois Lane will throw herself in danger.
She's like, oh, no. My husband might be dead, but he's still going to stop you.
Yeah.
And like this right here, where he's like using his abilities, he's seeing that and he's sitting here crying using his abilities. Like he's starting to realize like, oh, I messed up. And like even Lois Lane was like, what the hell was in that letter? Like,
oh, it's great. Because I mean that was the whole thing. Clark had good intentions.
Yeah.
But it was just it's that small feeding of that like influence information that slowly gets somebody, even like Clark, to get to that point. Again, if you read that and you see any correlations to our world right now, not to say you would, but just keep that in mind. Definitely not talk about politics. Comics aren't political. Just kidding. It's crazy. But I love the way that's done. I love that. And I love that, like, we have this, like, a lot happens right then.
Yeah, like, bam. Right at the end, you get this nice, like, things are tied up. They're, like, basically, like, this is going on. This is happening. Like, Superman, like, is gone. Lex Luthor didn't actually die.
We got to talk about, okay, let's go in order. So, Superman is, like, he's like, okay, we're going to leave.
Yeah.
What am I doing? I've messed up. I've become what I hate. I've basically become Brainiac.
Yeah.
And Brainiac's like, oh, well, actually, screw you, dude. I've been in charge the whole time.
Yeah.
I've been playing you and you can't stop me and I'm going to assimilate you. And he's like, okay, sure. And that moment, Lex Luthor's not dead.
No.
He takes over from inside Brainiac, destroying Brainiac. But Brainiac's ship is about to detonate. So Superman takes him off into space. Dead.
Yeah.
Comics have never been political, or comics have never had politics. I just grew to be a horrible person. But yeah, and then it gives us an interesting thing. So how did you feel with the ending here? So basically, in Earth 30, for the most part, everything ended up pretty dope. Lex Luthor kind of made things, I mean, this kind of worked out.
It kind of worked out. So I want to say, like, when Superman is taking the ship and, like, into space to have it explode or whatever, like, one of my favorite, like, parts of this, like, Lex Luthor has always wanted to be, like, true buds. Like, he has a bromance so hard for a guy he will never get with, right? Yeah. And he wants to be friends so much. And, like, Superman goes, well played. Like, he knows he's been played by all sides, all parties.
It keeps this, like, chess narrative going.
Yeah. So he knows he's been played at this point in time by all parties. And he's like, well, you know what? Maybe Lex Luthor, maybe he's going to do something good. I don't want it in my hands anymore. I don't want this responsibility. Yeah. I don't want to be the one to keep the world in a bottle. And he's like, you know, Lex, I know you're not going to hear this message for a while or even see the explosion until light reaches you. But there's something I have to say before I go. Well played, old friend.
These guys.
I would never imagine that going on, like, in certain, like, worlds or timelines. But seeing that, like, go on right here, like, only as you know, like, the Red Sun, is he like, oh, well played, old, you know, friend.
Right, yeah. Buddy old pal. Like... Which is interesting because these two haven't spoken a lot to one another.
No, they
are just, you know,
long distance. They
have been, yeah. And you could say in this case they're both they're both very self-interested. I mean, like, not self-interested, but like they are very tunnel vision in the thing that they're working on.
Yes.
Because, like, neither of them fall in love. It's just like, this is the whole point. That, like, Josh says, I think it's a realization that no one knew him better. Well, and Lex is such an interesting case, right? Because Lex, his reason for being obsessed with Superman, there's a lot of things, but a lot of it's either like a jealousy or an envy. Mm-hmm. Because Lex has accumulated all this, he's so intelligent and he has all this money. He wants to be what Superman just gets to be.
Right.
Superman, because of his powers, because he's a good person. And this is me talking in general with all Superman comics. He just is that, and he gets to have this admiration from everyone. And Lex has the intellect and the money and everything else, and he doesn't get to have that. And so he responds not by being like, "Hey, that's cool. We could be friends. You know, we could do this." Instead, it reacts with like, "Hey, screw you, dude! I'm gonna ruin everything you ever did because I want to be that."
Yeah. So you have two sides of the coin.
Yeah.
So you have Lex Luthor essentially like, I beat Superman, checkmate. You know, like, you can only be my friend if you're under me, but close to me. You know what I mean? Like, close in intelligence, but I still beat you. That's the only way you're going to be Lex Luthor's friends. And that's what he's seeking out of Superman. So Lex feels like he got what he wanted. Like, he beat Superman. He ticked that box off. He made that checkmate. Superman is thanking Lex Luthor because he feels like Lex Luthor helped lead him to epiphany.
Yeah.
He was the one that made him realize, like, I am actually doing the world a disservice by trying to help people in a certain way, by forcing help, the wrong type of help, onto these people, by doing so much that I have actually gone backwards and made things very stringent.
Which is hilarious because Lex Luthor has literally done things like this.
Yeah.
In, like, regular DC line. He is the one that would be more likely to be like, yeah, let's just have, like, a security force that's just, like, there in every city that, like, controls everything you do.
Yeah.
But what's interesting is after this, he takes some of what he learns from Brainiac and Superman, what kind of their ideals think they put together, and he implements it.
Yeah.
And he ends up creating this like
utopia,
like global United States. And he instead of having politicians lead, it's like artists and like, like,
philosophers, writers, scientists.
Yeah.
Nobody that would necessarily be a threat.
Yeah.
That's the other thing you have to look like. It is good. Like if we have to have like writers and artists, that's something that's soft power is what you would say. It's stuff that influences, can make you feel good, but doesn't have a hard edge to it. It's not something that is like dynamically in control with power, with force. It is a soft power. So you can lead by suggestion. You can lead by medicine, by improving the health. You can lead by pictures, murals, stuff that is moving, stories that make you think the way that somebody wants to think. It is a soft power.
He just goes and like now that his brain power is free, which if you think about it, he could have been doing this forever.
Right.
He cures cancer. He cures diabetes. He cures all these things. He lives for 1,000 years, and I guess Lois does as well. I guess he also.
Well, they have kids and their descendants, and I do like how this book ends.
Oh, we have to talk because that's so interesting. They didn't have to throw this in, but that was cool. No. That was really cool. So I'll let you talk about it.
I thought it was really cool. So we get to see like, the death of like this, and we're hearing this from a narrator, and at first it's like for the first time in human history this happened. And then Lex Luthor, and then we see like, the answer was simple, like, without a moment's hesitation, this happened and this happened, and then, as the sun started dimming, like this happened, like this is how everything ended. And then their grand, like Lois Lane and Lex Luthor, their great kids, they lived under a red sun.
Which is crazy because they start saying like, the Luthor name, and then they're like, and then Lana L, and I'm like, interesting. Wait, where's
Alex
this going?
L, Jordan L, Lana L,
and I was like, what does it mean? And like, we'll have to send him back in time. And I was like, what the hell? What is happening? So cool.
And then Lex Luthor's great grandson to the power 50. A young man called Jor-El. And you're just like, I recognize these names.
Yeah, I know. And he's like, and that, our planet's about to die. So we got to send Kal-El back in time, back when the sun was yellow. And I'm like, whoa. So it's just a closed time circuit.
It's a closed time circuit. It's like, do we really have to send him back so far back, Jor-El? The sun's rays were yellow.
Crazy.
In those days, they're people weak and primitive. He's going to be so different from everyone.
So cool. I love a story like that. This feels like a 80s or 90s anime OVA story. You know what I mean? Like that part of it. They could have just stuck with just like, it's fun. What if Superman was born in, the USSR? And they're like, but what if it's a closed timeline? I'm like, okay, very cool.
Cool.
I
really loved it. And this is one of the ones that I actually took time to read, like the introduction. From Tom DeSanto. And I was like, I usually don't read forwards. Like I'm just like too wordy, too long, didn't read. I took the time to read this because I was like, I want to do this book justice. I want to read everything front to cover. And even before I read that, I was like, this all, he even says like, this could have been so simple. It could have been black and white. Communist bad. Communist Superman bad.
Yeah.
America great. But they didn't make that. There are these.
I'm so glad.
I'm really happy with that because like, that's what I thought. I was like, Superman in USSR, that sounds interesting. But I know how the story's going to be. It's going to be like, Superman's this bad guy, but he's
right, like an 80s action movie,
like an 80s action movie, and he is in some ways, but he's not. He like the perfect anti-hero is always somebody who believes they are doing the right thing. Like we all believe we're doing the right thing.
Yeah,
at least I want to think that.
Well, yeah, I think
right.
Was it Chapter Black had a good comment about that? There's it is easier than you think sometimes to radicalize people. There's ways that these happen. And it's interesting to see the steps at which that happens, or, you know, terrifying, depending on when you're alive.
Right.
Like right now. But like, you can see how that gets twisted, and how if you have the right people or the wrong people in your ear saying something, it long enough, it can twist into something like that.
Right.
But it's also interesting seeing this, if you've read other Superman books, to see how things can be different, how people can be different depending on what is the environment.
Like, what's the environment? Is it? Yeah. And that's why I really enjoy it. I love that it's a good character study of like nature versus nurture, or like, what is it? Nurture versus...
Yeah, nature versus nurture.
Yeah. Okay. So it's a good character study. Like, what characteristics of Superman are innate, and which ones were actually brought out by his environment. And I think like the core values of Superman are still there, and they do a very good job. Like Mark Millar did an excellent, phenomenal job with this, of being like, I understand the core values of Superman. These are the core values. These are not going to change, but let's warp them a little bit. Just enough to make it very believable. This is how he would kind of be influenced by the world around him. This is how his core values could function in a different light. Yeah. I think it worked so well with this book.
Yeah, it's very nuanced, because like there's also like injustice.
Yeah.
Like you have a Superman that like is radicalized and changed after his wife dies. Well, after he he kills her because of, things.
Yeah.
Like, and he becomes very similar, where he is taking over everything. He is chosen to be the lead. That's a very different Superman, because that's a very understandable, like, I wouldn't say not nuanced, but it's a very different look. You could argue that this is a similar sort of path, right?
Right.
But it's interesting to see this, because it is a smaller thing, and you get to see Clark still have those morals, even amidst this change.
Yeah. Yeah, because he knows he's a figurehead. So, like, when we are in the first section where he's just becoming that figurehead, the Red Sun.
Yeah.
And Stalin is having a military parade, because that's, a big thing in communist power. It's
right. And then
you have this power. You have
good people don't like military parades. Again, I don't, who said it? I don't know.
Well, and he's like, somebody's in trouble. I got to go save them.
Yeah.
And Stalin's like, come on, man. I need you here. I need you to be present. I need you to be my face.
Exactly.
And like Superman's like, hold on. And then he flies off. And then he comes back. And then he flies off. And then he comes back. And he's like, that man cannot sit still.
Yeah. He's like, oh, it's his whims, as if he's not doing good things.
Right. Like, he's just like, oh, his whims, man. Like, yeah, we're for the people, blah, 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 blah. But I need you to be here, man.
Oh, yeah, it's difficult to engineer good intention when people with good intentions allow themselves to become cynical. I mean, preach.
Yeah. I also like his mom being here.
Oh, Martha? At the beginning.
Martha.
That was cute. She's like, well, I'm glad Jonathan isn't alive to see this. So I was like, oh.
I was like, oh no. So we know what happened with him. I love that they give us little questions that we want it answered in here, just as a little blip. It's not like a whole big thing about it. It's just a quick, like, little scene in middle America. Like, well, I'm glad he's not around to see with this. I don't know how you take it.
And I think that's important, because like if you just made this book and ignored, some of the, like, we have the Rogues Gallery, because they even show like Doomsday and stuff, like very quickly, but they show it. I'm glad that's still included, because those things would have still happened.
Yeah.
Or arrived regardless. So how does that change with this? It's very cool. It's a very cool book. I think it's very well done. I can understand some people's criticism of things, but I really like it. And I like at the end, Superman's still alive. He gets to be kind of Clark.
I want more of Comrade Batman.
I know. You might like, so there's this new, this isn't Comrade Batman, but DC's doing this thing where they're doing these, this is confusing, because there's the books that are absolutes, and then there are series that are happening right now that's like absolute Wonder Woman, absolute whatever, that are really cool, where they do this kind of thing, which again, that's really just Elseworlds, but like what if Wonder Woman was raised by Cersei instead of the Amazons?
Yeah.
But her core values are the same. It's very cool. It's like Batman, what if he didn't have money? You know, and they do these kind of things. And like it's neat to see. Like I like spending time of like, what if this actually? Like that's fun. That's cool. It's a nice break when you're stuck in like the long canon of DC or Marvel and you're like, there's so much happening.
Yeah. Oh, I've always loved Marvel's what ifs. Like, I've always loved that they basically have just thrown these like crazy ideals out there and been like, let's do a story about this. Let's do about this. Let's do this. You know, and then like, I think there's a couple that have actually become an interwoven and turned into like legitimate canon stuff. But it's very cool to just sort of like step out of your niche, revisit these characters, do little character studies.
Yeah.
Maybe just there's some wild stuff in there, but it's nice to see these characters kind of reimagined in different ways and see how they react, you know, like to a certain situation. I think it also depends on the writer though, too.
Oh, well, for sure. It's nice to take a break and like get to spend time with characters outside of like whatever the long-term thing is happening. It's so easy to be like, okay, now we're stuck again of like the canon or the big event or whatever.
Right.
So I'm always happy to take, I'm more than happy to read a one-off or Elseworlds or like anything. Okay, so because we're getting close to time, what would you rate this out of 10, Tina?
I would say it's an 8.
Yeah, I agree.
I think solid. Like I'm definitely going to keep this. It's going to go on my shelf.
Yay!
Like I love it. I think Mark Millar did a fantastic job. I loved the art in it. There wasn't anything that I particularly had any problems with. It wasn't like, I think it was almost wrapped up too quickly for me. I know that's kind of weird.
They could have slowed down. I mean, like they put a lot in here. You could have made this like 60-ish. I mean, you really could have taken your time. Yeah. And, you know, that could have made it worse, potentially. I don't know. But
it could have potentially made it worse. The pacing was definitely good. In some areas, I felt it was a little too fast.
Yeah, I agree.
So I don't know if that was time constraint, writing, like editorial decision, you know, what the process was on there. But it didn't feel rushed. Like, it wasn't something that I would be like, I complain about. I think it's just some areas were just a little fast, where I wanted a little bit more. And I think that's what took it down to an 8 for me. But overall, like, it's solid. Hands down, the writing is probably 10 out of 10. Pacing, like I said, it's probably about a 7 or 8. And so, like, meter the difference. So.
Yeah, I agree. I think 8 is that's where I would go to. Very much enjoyed it. I mean, it's fun to read.
Oh, it's definitely
so
fun.
next time you're on, I feel like we should go back and forth.
Okay.
If you'd like to come on like once a month or whatever to hang with.
Yeah, I can do that.
Because I feel like we should do an X-Men thing.
Oh, really?
I think we should read one of your X-Men that you like.
Okay. All right.
And then we can come back and I'll find the Green Lantern thing or something.
Yeah. I think that would be great. I would be excited to read Green Lantern. Yeah. Do you always just do like Marvel and DC, or do you ever branch out to?
Oh, literally anything.
Okay.
So you mean we could do a manga? That's fine.
There's Star Trek stuff.
I mean, I've never reviewed any Star Trek stuff on here.
Oh, you haven't?
And Star Trek Day is next month. So we could do something Star Trek.
Yeah.
If you want. But yeah, I mean, like, we could, there's indie stuff. If you ever, like, anything like that you'd want to talk about. I've got tons of indie recommendations.
My expertise would be, like, X-Men of a certain very sectional time period.
I haven't read a lot of X-Men from that time period. Like, you and I did Mute Masker together.
Okay.
I've read a lot of X-Men, but not like nothing sequential. And like random X-Men is basically and then old X-Men where I disappoint Omar.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
The the 70s, 60s, 70s.
Yeah. Dark Phoenix Saga era. But yeah, I'd be down for some if you know of a good story. Yeah. Does Lars read Star Trek? What if like Lars knows about Star Trek? Maybe just Star Trek stuff, but
all I know is Lower Decks is killing it. I
need to watch it
so much. I'll have to lend it to you sometimes. And then I've picked up some comics for like some of the Lower Decks stuff, and it's fun. Yeah. So we could do something from Fatal Attractions or Ultimate X-Men or something like that. Ultimate X-Men's sort of like newer. We could do something like that. We could do Generation X if you want to do that too.
Sure.
So we'll kick the ball around. We'll think about it.
Yeah. You can think about it, and because I'll probably have to be messaging you next weekend while I'm at SuriCon anyways.
Okay.
But you should just go for a day. Just hang out with me. Go.
It's next weekend. It's not this weekend.
It's next weekend.
Okay.
There's room in our room if you decide.
I'll see what I'm doing. Take a look at my calendar.
We haven't been to an anime con in a while.
No, we haven't.
I mean, I don't know if any of you nerds are going to be in Ohio next weekend, but I'm going to be at SuriCon. And regular because I'm not cosplaying or anything. I'm just chilling.
Just chilling?
Yeah, I'm not taking photos. I'm not cosplaying. I'm just hanging out. It's been a long time. I'm going to go to an artist alley in real life. What's that like anymore?
Oh, man. I hope it's not AI stuff.
No, I mean, most of the stuff are banned from like places. Like it always shows up if the con runners aren't like aware.
Okay.
And then immediately everybody calls them out.
Yeah.
Don't ever never show AR to me ever. I don't want to see it. No, I had to leave a Terry Moore group because I love Terry Moore comics like desperately. But I was on the Facebook group and like, I mean, just constant AI posting. And I was like, no, dude, I don't want to see that. It happened in the Suikoden groups too. I was like, no.
Really?
Yeah. And I was like, that's, first of all, priced resources. Second of all, no one consented for their art to be put in there.
No. And I understand, like, if you're younger, I get it. There's a whole conversation, but like, you're trying to be like creative in an avenue, like personal use, whatever you're saying, but like,
don't post that shit online. Dude.
Don't. Yeah.
I don't want to see any of that. No, thank you. Like, don't put that in my face. Like, you and I we draw things.
Yep.
See, your categories.
Yeah, my categories. It's like when I was really into like cosplay and posting photos and stuff, and somebody messaged me and was like, hey, can I use a photo of yours to sell a costume that I want to make like for commission basis? Like, well, you didn't make it. That's not yours. You don't get to do that. And they're like, well, I don't have money until they commission me, so I can't make it. And I was like, so that's false advertising. You can't do that. It's stealing somebody's work. And that's what's happened. It's very uncomfy. My original degree is in graphic design. They're putting a lot of people out of work, and I get it. Like, progress happens and stuff like that, but
there's a better way. I mean, like, if everyone was like putting their own images in and was like, hey, I'm okay with you training this if you want thing, but it's not.
Right.
I feel the same way with people like when they like, oh, what would this actor look like as this character? And they choose a cosplay photo that's not theirs and they edit their photo. Like, that always skews me out too, because like, you don't credit them. You're just like, that's just theft. All of it's just theft.
Like, I get like your intent might not to be something like that, but that's essentially what it is. Like,
at some point you have to recognize that's what it is.
Right.
It just is theft.
Yeah.
So no, thank you. And to me, I'm like, when you see like comic book people or like, you know, like fans of things, right? Of art and books, and they're the ones, I'm like, you are like, come on. Like, you have these, you appreciate these things.
Right.
Right. Why would you do that to any of those people?
Right.
Because now you're feeding their art to the machine. Like, come on, dude. Gross.
Yep.
Gross. You heard it here. Oh yeah, I don't think that's a niche take. And I assume people who watch this channel are cool. Everybody in the chat here is cool.
Yeah.
But
AI should be used to help augment, but not used as the end all be all. And I hate it. It's a changing landscape. Yeah. And so like that is something like the comics industry is, facing nowadays.
Oh, yeah.
Like, yeah.
Oh man, before we go, I'm jealous that you have that cat bus from the Ghibli park.
I wanted the huge one. And I was like, if I got that $200 cat bus, like the big plush, that would be the only thing in one of my luggages. And I almost was like, it's worth it. But then I was like, you know what? I want to get so many little things. So I was like, I'll just get the small one. You didn't get one?
No, I didn't. I got a bunch of other stuff, but I was having a rough day that day at the Ghibli park. So.
Aww.
But that's okay. Well, Tina, this has been lovely. Chat, I should be back next week. I talked to Steven, but I think we're going to do Absolute Wonder Woman next Tuesday. I just have to check in. That was going to happen last Tuesday, but your girl got a major migraine and couldn't do the show. So I think that'll happen next Tuesday. And then, Tina, I'd love to have you back next month and talk about X-Men or whatever.
Yeah, can do.
Everybody take care of yourselves. Life is rough and the world is rough. Read some comic books. Sometimes maybe one that's less about the world right now than this one. But read it, but also read something light.
Yeah. Read a cozy manga. Like there's
tons. I wish I had my Superman versus Meshi near me like I usually do, so I can pull it out like I always do. All I have is like 100 Girlfriends Really Love You and Oshinoko. So I don't know.
Oh yeah. I've got Oshinoko too. Like I'm like, oh, you want some Oshinoko? I've got that.
Just read something really cozy, like a Junji Ito. Just a nice little cozy book. Just a nice little cozy Ito.
Well, Pet Shop of Horrors is out. Highly recommend this. This is amazing. Nice cozy read.
Thanks for being here, Mark. We love you.
Thank you.
All right. I'll see you all next time. Oh yeah. Hope you like this video. Hope you comment down below your thoughts about Red Sun. You guys know this trick. If you end up here and you're not already subscribed to the channel, I'm surprised. There's a Patreon. You can vote for your over and new reader pick of the month. They have a ton of other things you can do here. Y'all know what's up. Catch y'all next time. Bye.